Good morning, Asheville. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of No Limits. I'm Dwayne Adams, Associate Director of the Small Business Center.
And I'm Veronica Casey, Coordinator of Scholarships and Donor Relations. Good morning, Asheville.
Yes, indeed. Today's program is being brought to you as part of a collaboration between WRAS 100.7 FM, where respect is in the music, and Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College, where we are changing lives and strengthening communities by being dedicated to student success and delivering quality education to enhance academic, workforce, and personal development. We have an outstanding show with an outstanding guest today.
Yes, we do. I'm excited.
Me too. So for our listeners, grab a cup of coffee, turn up the volume, kick your feet up, and listen for the next half hour. So let's start off with some announcements, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. So once again, AB Tech Foundation scholarships are now available for the 2022-2023 academic year. Up to $2,000 is available. You know, scholarships are available for just about every program, any program at AB Tech. In addition to those programs, those specific and general scholarships, there are also scholarships specifically for students of color, such as the 100 Men and Women Minority Scholarship, the Sam Barnes Scholarship, the Osborne M. Hart Endowed Scholarship, and the Lacey T. Haith and James B. Miller Endowed Scholarships. So the application deadline is April the 1st. It's coming up. So more information on how to apply, go to www.abtech.edu/scholarships, or you can contact me, Veronica Casey, at Veronica M as in Mary, Casey at abtech.edu.
For anyone who has a desire to continue their education, the Shiloh Association is offering a college scholarship to high school seniors or currently enrolled college students. Get up to $1,000. The application deadline is April 20th. And for more information, go to www.shilohnc.org. That's SHILOHNC.org.
That's right. And also the Asheville Latin Americans Achieving Success, known as ALAS, it's also accepting scholarship applications for DACA-minted students who are studying at any college or university. So get up to, $1,200, right? So for more information, go to www.alasnc.org. It's lots of money. Let's get this money. Yes.
Don't leave it on the table is what I say.
Exactly. Put it in your pocket.
That's right. If I can't put it in mine, just put it in yours.
Exactly, right?
So there are a variety of programs, services, and events that take place at and around AB Tech. Be sure and check out the college's calendar page at www.abtech.edu for more information. So let's get into it. It's always a pleasure to bring back friends of the show, and today is no exception. Today's guest was last on back in September 2020. She survived what we hope is the peak of an interesting wave of challenges due to circumstances that none of us could control. Deborah Wright has leapt into the driver's seat of her division, and today she is here to share information with us regarding the college's new truck driver training program. So please welcome back Deborah Wright, Vice President of Economic Workforce Development and Continuing Education. Welcome back, Deborah.
Thank you.
Welcome, Deborah.
Welcome. It's good to see you guys again. It has been a minute.
It's been a minute. It probably seems longer than it actually has because so much has been going on. But
yeah, we call those COVID years.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're very excited to have you back today to speak to us about the truck driver training program.
Well, I'm happy to be here to talk about it. Thanks for having me.
That's right, Deborah. I mean, it's like, what is all the hype? It's like, we've been hearing so much about this. Like, I mean, it's been in the news. It's been like, we've seen news releases. It's like, what is going on at AB Tech with this truck driving training?
Well, go ahead. Well, first of all, it's exciting that you've been hearing all of that because that's what we want. We want the word to get out there to everybody. And the other thing is this program has been a year in the making as we've been out trying to tie up partnerships and find the best alignment for AB Tech in our community. So having done all that, we're excited to finally get it off the ground. So that's why you're hearing all the hype, because it's the culmination of a year's worth of work and pounding the pavement and a lot of phone calls. So.
Wow. And so now I understand that AB Tech has partnered with Trans Tech to offer this training, right? So what is Trans Tech?
So that's a great question. During the pandemic, when we were giving out a lot of grant money, some of that grant money was going to support students who were interested in truck driving. And I noticed how many of those forms I had to sign off on for students for this particular grant. And so that money I knew would not last long, but I looked at the demand for the program and I thought, we're missing an opportunity here. And there are a lot of people who are interested in truck drivers. So at that point, we started looking around the community for partners. And one of the places that I was sending and paying for students to go to was at Trans Tech. And it just so happened they reached out and said, hey, we'd love to come and talk to you, more about our program. And I said, I think I need to talk to you all too, because I'm sending a lot of people over there. Let's have that conversation. So that's really how it all got started, and a little bit of the background of seeing the demand coming through our program through those scholarships, and trying to figure out what we were going to do with those students once that scholarship money ran out. And so I thought we need to be creative here. We need to start thinking down the road and how can we bring that program in-house and better cover some of these students.
That's great, Deborah. And for a lot of our listeners, I'm sure they probably don't know about, the different divisions and departments that exist within the college. So tell us why this is such a good fit for the Con Ed division.
Yes. So Con Ed, our area is economic and workforce development. And a lot of the programs that we do in our division are short-term training and what they call non-credit. So people who are looking to be working in anywhere from, 6 weeks to 6 months are looking for something that doesn't have such a long commitment as maybe a 2-year degree at this time. Of course, we're always hoping they'll come back later and be continuing, their education. But when you just need a job that's going to pay you and it's going to fill a lot of slots in our community for our employers, that's usually what our division covers. And truck driver training fits right into that, because when you complete this, there are 80,000 jobs nationwide in truck driver training, and not training, but
wow.
drivers. Yeah. They need 80,000 drivers out there. And so this is another reason this program is very timely for our community, and another really great option to get people to work right now.
So Deborah, when does the program begin? I mean, it's coming up soon.
Yes,
and
it is.
Yeah, and so what are the steps for getting into the program?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we weren't sure how many people we'd get tagged with this initial launch. We have a registration process for orientation. And so the first orientation is actually this Thursday.
Oh,
and
wow.
Anybody who wants to attend that can call 828-398-7924 and get registered for the orientation. Because once you register, then they'll send you an orientation packet. And we want to make sure we have enough room for the people for each orientation. But I don't want you to think you missed out, because we're going to do this every 2 weeks. And what's really nice about this partnership is we can take as many students as knocking on the door, because the first part of this is the book part of it. So you don't start driving right away, of course. You have about 56 hours of online coursework. And so that can start at any time. So we get you signed up to do that. And then after you complete the 56 hours, then you move on to the 120 hours of behind the wheel training. So once you get registered for one of the orientations, which again will happen every 2 weeks, That tells you everything you need to know about the program. And then once you decide you want to start, then all those other pieces will fall in place.
So Deborah, when you say this Thursday, what is the specific date? When you say this
That
Thursday?
is March 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, March
Okay.
17th.
Okay, because this show, it re-airs, so we don't want to get folks confused on when the original date, when it starts. So yeah.
Yes, so it's March 17th, the day before my birthday. So that might help people remember.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. So yeah,
Good
this is a great birthday present.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good catch on that one, Veronica, because we certainly want people to know whenever they listen what the actual date is.
Exactly.
And I'm glad you clarified the question too, Deborah, about classroom and online or classroom and hands-on training, because I was like, okay, there's got to be some hands-on, because quite frankly,
Yes.
I think we need people to have certain licenses to drive an F-150.
Yes, absolutely. And that was a big part of us finding a partner who we felt comfortable coming alongside. We not only want to help with more drivers, but we want to have more safe drivers out there on the road. And so the 56 hours, the company actually just switched to this new online model. So that worked out really well for us being able to take as many people who are interested and take them on an ongoing basis in the first part of this class. And after they complete that, that's when we'll start kind of funneling them into the driver training portion when they're ready and they've successfully completed the online portion of that. So
great. And I know that you still have some, which I love, the manual transmission, and you have some automatic and manual transmission out there. Are folks still learning on both automatic and manual transmissions?
Well, that's a great question. I imagine that once they get behind the road, they'll have a little bit of both. I think some of the newer trucks have that automatic transmission now and not just the manual. But, having been across country a couple of times, I know that sound when you downshift and you're like, please stop, please stop. So yeah, my uncle actually was a truck driver and he drove across country all the time and he loved it. I think what's nice about this program, and for people who are participating in it, you have so many options. I know as I drive in the morning along Riverside Drive, I am passing signs on the side of that road that said seeking drivers. So for those who want to stay local, there's lots of opportunities to drive and stay in the community, do your day job, and then be home. For those who want to hit the open road, TransTech has folks coming in from some of the larger companies on a regular basis to recruit students. So those long haul opportunities are there as well for students in terms of jobs and what are my options when I complete this training.
So Deborah, students can choose whether or not they'd like to learn on an automatic or manual transmission truck. Like, can they choose?
That's a great question. I don't know if they have a choice. I imagine as a student, you want to be as fluid as possible with what you're capable of doing. But that's a question I think I'd have to ask back at TransTech and what their equipment and what options students have. I imagine because you don't know what company you're going to end up working, you want to know how to do both.
Okay, very good. So now you talked about the online component of that. Mm-hmm. Is there a computer lab available for those students who may not have access to the internet?
Yes, that's a great question, Veronica. I'm glad you
talk more about that.
Yeah, when they told us that they were moving from face-to-face classes to this online version, that was a big concern for us coming out of the pandemic and knowing that there's a lot of disparities between, people who have access to these computers and people who do not. And so we checked around and we have several locations that have computer labs, and those will be available for the students to come in and log in and do their coursework whenever they need to do that while the labs are open. So I don't want people to feel like, oh, I don't have a computer, I can't do that. Not at all. You can actually come to the campus, get access to one of the labs, log on, do your coursework, and log back out, and then do that same thing as it's convenient for you. So that is not a barrier for people who don't have a laptop or a desktop at home.
That's great, providing access. So let's talk about cost. Since this is only a 5-week course, one would think it would be less expensive than that of a regular curriculum program. So what is the cost, and what exactly is included there?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's a very expensive program to run, which is why we were looking so hard for a partner. It's probably one of our most expensive programs in our Con Ed division. However, if you can imagine trucks and fuel and upkeep and safety and all those things, it does cost a lot to run. However, you know, one of the things that we looked at was how can we help students pay for this? And the total cost comes out to about $3,047. Part of that is tuition and fees. Part of that is a Department of Transportation physical and drug screen. And part of that is for your permits from the DMV and your licenses. So it's a comprehensive package, and it can be deep on the pockets. However, we are working with several of our partners in-house. We still have some HERF funding that we are able to apply toward students getting this. We've partnered with WIOA and YMI in the community to get some memorandums of agreement in place so that we're trying to fill the gaps of this total cost. And just last week, I was meeting with our foundation director, Amanda Edwards, and she told me that they were able to identify a lot of scholarships and funding within the foundation that would also help to fill those gaps. So I was super excited to hear that. So I would also tell people, don't let the cost deter you, because we have been very busy at looking at different sources of funding that we can put together to help, you know, close that gap for covering the cost. And we also have sponsorships. A lot of these companies are looking for drivers, and they will pay for you to go through that training. So
that
your
is wonderful.
out-of-pocket costs will be just for your physical, your licensing, and so that could be you know, minimized a lot by having a sponsor say, hey, you go through this training, we will pay for it, you pay for this part, and I think it would be really, and then you have a job when you come out, because basically they're telling you, we'll pay for it, you come work for us.
Wow, that's a good deal.
It's a great deal.
It
is
is.
a great deal.
For our listeners, I just want to let them know that we're probably a little over the halfway point at this part of the show, but we do have Ms. Deborah Wright this morning, who is the Vice President of Economic Workforce Development and Continuing Education, and she's here to talk to us about AB Tech's new truck driver training program. So definitely appreciate her taking the time to inform us today. So Deborah, if you don't mind, just getting back to the conversation, what is the return on investment for those completing the course? Let's talk about salary range.
Exactly. Talk about the money.
The money. Yeah.
The money.
Yeah. The truck drivers, when you're doing long haul, they end up paying you per mile. That's very common. Some of the locals I've heard are already paying, you know, $20, $24 an hour. One of the places that I drive past in the morning, you know, has a sign up saying, you know, sign on bonuses. So right now, I think the onus and the benefit is definitely to the students. You can graduate and choose where you want to go, and, you know, look at the best salary and benefits package that each company has to offer. I think a starting driver can expect to make anywhere between 45 and higher, the longer you stay on, accident-free driving, all that stuff factors into it. So I think it's a very lucrative career. There are few barriers to entry other than being a safe and conscientious driver on the road. I think the big picture has shown us that we have some gaps right now in our supply chain, right? So a lot of those are because the truck drivers are retiring and they can't hire them fast enough. And just like everybody else in the community, if you're looking to hire, you're having to put the money up front to attract people to the career. So I think for the investment coming into it, even though $3,000 is, admittedly a lot of money out of pocket for a lot of folks, with the scholarships that we have available for you to come in and maybe just end up paying, $400 or $500 of that for your licensing things, the return on investment on the backside of that in terms of having a lucrative career and a long-term career, because a lot of these places, they do have benefits and they have bonus structures. I think it's awesome. It's a great opportunity for people.
So Deborah, I'm gonna Laurent, I apologize because I'm gonna throw a zinger in here. It's just
okay. Go ahead.
You don't have to know the answer. I'm just really curious. Being that I work with entrepreneurs pretty much on a daily basis, do you know if a lot of truck drivers actually do this as independent contractors, or do they work with trucking companies directly with the businesses? Do you know how that works?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dwayne. I think you have the opportunity to do both, but I will say to start out that way is very expensive. Again,
yeah, I was thinking
a
that
truck costs a whole lot of money. I have a cousin who drives a truck, and she posted on Facebook last week that she paid almost $1,000 at the gas station to fill up her truck, right? So it's a high barrier to entry into that independent, contractor area. However,
and insurance.
Oh, and insurance,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I'm glad you're clarifying this because some people may call me wanting to start a trucking business, and I just want to get it out
there. You might start smaller trucks, but for the big 18-wheelers, I think it's for the people who are more seasoned and they've saved their money and they bought their own vehicle. And people who are experience a shortage now can call on them to say, hey, I need somebody to do a run for me and take this stuff, right? So I think that's more of a down the road rather than a starter business, because it's so much cost to get into it. But I mean, we have Ingalls right down the street in Swannanoa. They are looking for drivers. So you can find people to bear that cost for you up front. And if you decide after doing it a couple of years, you want to call your own shots and make your own schedule, then you got to save up to get that truck. So
Deborah, I heard you say she. Your cousin is a she, and I'm thinking,
that.
Oh my God! Like
Absolutely.
This is awesome. So are you looking to see more women signing up for the course?
I am always looking to see more women in these non-traditional fields. You guys know well enough to know, you can do anything you want to do, right down to construction, welding, manufacturing. But truck driving, there are as many women out there who can drive those big 18-wheelers as there are.
Right.
And I would say yes to the women listening, and you're looking for a new career opportunity, please come and attend the orientation and get the information, because it's not just a job for men. And my cousin loves it. She's been with the company for a long time. She usually stops and visits folks when she's in their neighborhood and she's got to pull over and take a rest break. She'll call and tell somebody, hey, I'm in Oklahoma. Why don't you meet me here and I can, let's have dinner. So
exactly.
It's great for her, and it's lucrative. It's lucrative for her as well.
Exactly. So now you mentioned earlier that students will have a choice once they complete the course, that they'll have a choice of what companies that they, that they'll work for. How, as far as AB Tech, what type of assistance are you all providing for those students in order for them to have access to these companies, right? Like,
yeah, that's a great question, because one of the things that I love about what we're able to do in our division is all the wraparound services that we can offer to help prepare people for job interviews, for getting their resume right, to, practice and go through that. And so our HRD, or human resource development programs, can really help a student who maybe this will be their first job, and they need to practice how to go in front of Swift or Ingalls or whoever that hiring company is, and do a really good interview to land that job. So even though those companies come on a regular basis and meet, they'll set up a table and meet with students so you can go and talk to them. We also want to help you know how to talk to them so that you can land the interview and the job that you're looking for. So certainly through our other programs here in our division, we can help students to really prepare their resume, prepare their job skills, their talking game, so they know how to, talk the talk and walk the walk when they get in front of these employers. And that's part of what we do for any job, preparations, but also included in what we're going to do for the truck driver training.
Question. I don't want to get too much into the competition, but is AB Tech the first community college to offer this type of training?
It's not. It's one of the first in our area.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there are other community colleges that are more regional that are doing the partnerships, and some of them actually have their own trucks and their own instructors, and they partner with other schools around them to offer the truck driver training. For us, there's really nobody in our area that is doing this right now. And that's part of why we were sending people to Trans Tech in the first place, because that was the only school in this area. So it was, I think, smart on our part to come alongside them and say, hey, we need to partner with you because we want to be the front end of this. And so students will actually, they can call Trans Tech, and Trans Tech may send them to us to get registered so that they'll have a place to do the online training. We can help them with some of the financing, and then they can go back and do the training through Trans Tech. So I think it's a great win-win for both of us. We look forward to a good partnership with them. They're very reputable in the community in terms of truck driving. And so I think students are going to be in for a treat. They're also very forward thinking and looking, which is why they were smart enough to take and find a really good model to do the online. So it's not like somebody can do that for you. It's not like you can cheat. You can, skip through it. They showed us the demo of it, and you have got to do the work.
wow.
And so don't think because it's online, you're going to be shortcutting anything. You're going to have to do the work. You'll have a time frame in which to complete that online portion. And then once you do that, you'll be able to move on to the next step, and only then. So we have checked to make sure that we have all the kind of academic quality and concerns that would go into any other program, that even if we were doing it ourselves, are still going to be in place through the partnership.
Well, we are really, really excited. And we just hope that, wish all the success for this particular program. So for anyone after hearing this show, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a lot of people interested, your doors are going to be flooding.
Yes, we hope so. We're ready for you.
So for anyone who is interested after hearing the show and is just as hyped as we are of the idea of becoming a truck driver and is looking for more information about the truck driving training, let us know where to go and who to contact for more information.
Okay, well, I'm glad you did ask that. We, of course, put everything on our website, so you can always go to abtech.edu/truck truck, and you will find a page that lists all the information, and it will talk about the upcoming orientation. So not just this first one Thursday, although you can still get in that one, but also the regular schedule of orientations that we'll have following this first one. You can also email truck@abtech.edu, and that will get you to the point person, Carol Faust, who is the coordinator for this program, or you can call 828-398-7924. So
Wow.
you have the website, you have an email, or the old-fashioned, give them a phone call, and we can get you signed up, not just this week, but in any of the coming weeks, because this will be an ongoing rolling opportunity for enrollment, which is also exciting. You don't have to wait a semester. You can basically get in at any time and get started on the online learning. And then it'll slow down a little bit as we start funneling people into the actual driving portion of it.
Very good. Good job, Deborah.
Well,
Good
thank
job.
you. I'm
Thank you.
excited. I'm excited for our community.
We are too.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, this is one of those jobs that has no barriers, no color barriers, no racial barriers, and no, no barriers for females, males, anybody who wants to look at this as a job opportunity. You're welcome to come and do the orientation, start the program.
Very good. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Deborah, taking the time out this morning. Deborah Wright, Vice President of Economic Workforce Development and Continuing Education. Thank you to everyone who's been listening to this edition of No Limits, presented in collaboration with WRES 100.7 FM radio, where respect is in the music, and Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College, where we are changing lives and strengthening communities by being dedicated to student success and delivering quality education to enhance academic, workforce, and personal development. Thank you to Randy Weston, Ms. Sophie Dixon, and the Empowerment Resource Center for helping us produce a great show. Please support Black owned. If you like hearing our voices and would be interested in supporting WRES, please visit the website at wresfm.com. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm Dwayne Adams at 828-398-7951.
And if you need to get in touch with me, Veronica Casey, it's 828-398-7562.
Thank you to our guests, and thank you for listening.
Have a great day, Asheville.